important what to do things tonight. We talk about families, we talk about charism, we talk about being a unity, and it's all not so easy things to accomplish as we were talking, but they're the elements that really make up what we are meant to be, what God has called us to be as church. So we're going to talk about that, and I think the most challenging thing, and maybe it's not, maybe to me it is talking about the families, because working for the church, you see how families have pulled away from the church, especially working in religious education. And I don't say that as a negative. I say that as it's a need. And the biggest question all the directors of religious education ask is, how do we bring the parents in? Okay? And that's a worldwide question. So we're going to just embrace it a little bit today, and who knows, maybe we'll have a good conversation on what it could look like. You never know. We might come up with the answer right here. Wouldn't that be something? Holy Spirit, go. So we're going to open up with a song. I didn't have the room to put the title. It's called Here I Am to Worship. Does anybody know it?
I think so.
Yeah, I got a few of us. Good. It's actually a really old song, but it's, to me, a timeless song. So today, after we're done reading, after we're done singing, Jan is going to read from 1 Corinthians, and it's about the parts of the body being one. That you may be the hand or the foot, but you're no less important than the head. Okay? All of us are vital to the ministry of church, no matter what role we play. Okay? And what I'd like to do through this song is together enter in with the Holy Spirit and welcome him into our night, welcome him into our soul, and welcome him in to unify us through the prayer song. And in the opening words are, light of the world, you step down into darkness and open my eyes, let me see. Okay? So you step into my darkness and you open my eyes, and now I see. Just like the blind man. He opens his eyes and now he sees. He has that picture. Beauty that made this heart adore you, have hope of a life spent with you. Okay? So these are the words we're praying, and it's about coming together, worshiping the Lord, and that's the refrain. Here I am to worship. Here I am to bow down. Here I am to say that you are my God. Okay? And that will be our opening prayer.
Should we stand?
Yeah, if you feel like it. If you don't want to stand, you don't have to. Just be comfortable. Makes it easier to sing. Makes it louder, too, for those who don't like to sing. But, you know, I feel, as we talked last week, we're not here by accident. Okay? We're not here by accident. We talked about preaching to the choir. Okay? And yeah, I get that. But God called this choir together, okay, to talk this over, to hash this out, to be in his presence, okay? And so let's worship him together. So I'll do the first verse of the refrain, and that's really the whole song, but I'm going to start over. That way you'll get it, because the second verse sounds the same. And the little part at the bottom, and I'll never know how much it costs, that kind of chants out, so you'll get that. Like this. Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see. Beauty that made this heart adore you. Hope of a life spent with you. Here I am to worship, here I am to bow
altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
Okay, you think you got it? We'll go right back to the beginning.
Light of the world, you step down into darkness. Open my eyes, let me see beauty that makes this heart adore you. Hope of a life spent with you.
So here I am.
So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
We'll go into verse 2, King of all days.
King of all days, oh so highly exalted, glorious in heaven above.
If you could hear yourself, you sound really beautiful. Keep her going.
Humbly you came to the earth you created, all full of sin became poor. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
Since this song is about our God coming down and breaking open the darkness so that we can be filled with light, this next part is, I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon the cross. But that's our hope in Him, because He took it on for us. And we'll repeat it about 3 times, and we'll go right back into that chorus. It goes like this.
And I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. And I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross. And I'll never know how much it costs to see my sin upon that cross.
Here I am.
So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
One more time. So here I am.
So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me.
Just close your eyes. Let the Lord speak to you. I'm just going to hum a little bit.
Come, Holy Spirit. Come and fill me with your light. Holy Spirit, come and break the darkness that's in my life. Open my heart to what you need of me, and fill my heart with your presence, Lord. Come and fill my heart and open me to all you have for me, Lord. Oh Lord, will you change me right here, right now? Will you make me new, Lord? Will you make me new in your loving light? Oh Lord, fill me with that light. Let me see, Lord. Let me see with new eyes. Call me, Lord. Call me out, Lord. Call me out, Lord, from this boat of it. Take me to new heights, to new depths, Lord, to new widths, Lord. Take me higher, Lord. Take me higher, Lord, into you. And make me new right here, right now. Make me one last time, so here I am to worship. So here I am to worship, here I am to bow down, here I am to say that you're my God. You're altogether lovely, altogether worthy, altogether wonderful to me. You guys did that beautiful. Amen. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, everybody. Now you can sit and relax. So did you hear the difference when we all kicked in?
Yeah.
Did you hear how beautiful that was? Yeah. That's what today's about. But it's all kicking in. I am going to move us real quick. All right, so thank you for singing so beautifully. Isn't that just a beautiful way to pray?
Mm-hmm.
Together, just relax. Pardon me? Twice, yeah. It's like praying twice, okay? And if you keep singing the refrain over and over, we might get a third time. Yeah, it's a novena, he said. That's a good one. Yeah, so thank you for that. And you hear, I mentioned how beautiful it sounded, but when you hear as everybody's voice is raised, and I knew your hearts were in to singing the song, but you weren't just singing the song, you were praying it. You were asking the Lord to come in and enter right here, right now. So we claim that Lord's here right now. We claim that Holy Spirit. So today, we're going to take all that on, and we're going to talk about being together as a full body. We're going to be talking about there's no bystanders. We're all in this.
We're going to be talking about person-to-person engagement, in other words, sharing our faith to people. And we're going to move into talking about family. We're going to be talking about the whole thing, and it's all going to hopefully come together tonight in the sense of the real truth behind all this. Because we have to do this together. Okay? We all have a role. And that role could be getting the altar together every Sunday. Okay? Being that sacristan. That role could be the lector. That role could be the DRE. That role could be being a catechist. Doesn't matter. Okay? They're all important roles. The role could be very easy as getting coffee and donuts together. That's a pretty important role if you think about it. Okay? It's not easy. No, it isn't. And it's vital because everybody's coming. It's got to be ready, right? And it's got to be ordered. It's got to be talked about. So it's just not out. Let's just do coffee and donuts. There's a lot behind it. Okay? So let's move forward. Okay, Jan, I'm ready, girl. All right, Jan is going to read from 1 Corinthians, and it's on the unity of the body. And it's a long reading. It's chapter 12, verse 1 to 31. Keep that. Do you mind coming up? It would actually help. You won't have to shout as much.
I'm pretty loud.
You're pretty loud, huh?
All right, Corinthians chapter 12. Unity and variety. Now in regard to spiritual gifts, brothers, I do not want you to be unaware. You know how, when you were pagans, you were constantly attracted and led away to mute idols. Therefore, I tell you that nobody speaking by the Spirit of God says, Jesus be accursed. And no one can say, Jesus is Lord, except by the Holy Spirit. There are different kinds of spiritual gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different forms of service, but the same Lord. There are different workings, but the same God produces all of them in everyone. To each individual, the manifestation of the Spirit is given for some benefit. To one is given through the Spirit the expression of wisdom. To another, the expression of knowledge according to the same Spirit. To another, faith by the same Spirit. To another, gifts of healing by the one Spirit. To another, mighty deeds. To another, prophecy. To another, discernment of spirits. To another, variety of tongues. To another, interpretation of tongues. But one and the same Spirit produces all of these, distributing them individually to each person as he wishes. As a body is one, though it has many parts, and all the parts of the body, though many, are one body, so also Christ. For in one Spirit we were all baptized into one body, whether Jew or Greek, slave or free person, and we were all given to drink of one Spirit. Now, the body is not a single part, but many. If a foot should say, because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body, it does not for this reason belong any less to the body. Or if an ear should say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, it does not for this reason belong any less to the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body were hearing, where would the sense of smell be? But as it is, God placed the parts, each one of them, in the body as he intended. If they were all one part, where would the body be? But as it is, there are many parts, yet one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I do not need you, nor again the head to the feet, I do not need you. Instead, the parts of the body that seem to be weaker are all the more necessary. And those parts of the body that we consider less honorable, we surround with greater honor. And our less presentable parts are treated with greater propriety. Whereas our more presentable parts do not need this. But God has so constructed the body as to give greater honor to a part that is without it, so that there may be no division in the body, but that the parts may have the same concern for one another. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. If one part is honored, all the parts share its joy. Now you are Christ's body, and individually parts of it. Some people God has designated in the church to be first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then mighty deeds, then gifts of healing, assistance, administration, and variety of tongues. Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work mighty deeds? Do all have the gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret? Strive eagerly for the greatest spiritual gift.
So how many times have you heard that reading over your lifetime? Quite a bit, right? For me, anyway, I'm going to say, involving ourselves in this mission, it carries a whole lot more weight than it ever did before. Okay? So, it's pretty serious when we all say we're part of the body. And we need to be part of the body. We all need to be doing what we feel the Holy Spirit calling us to do. It just can't be Father. It just can't be the parish staff. And I mentioned all that last week. We tend to do that. I know when I'm not on staff, let them do it, right? Okay, but when I was on staff, holy cow, I got all this to do. And you're searching for volunteers constantly, okay? And all of that draws us deeper into our own faith life when we do step into it. So, we are on number 4 up there. This is guidepost number 4, equipping for the service of the gospel. And part of its markers are recognizing that we need to be equipped for this mission by being evangelized ourselves, trained with specific skills, and to be made aware of our cares. And those are 3 of the markers we're going to talk about underneath this guidepost. First one being that we need to be equipped. Okay? So, if we read the opening paragraph to guidepost 4, I'll just read it because I have the microphone. For Christ's disciples in the church of Detroit to be able to answer his call to evangelize, they need to have an appropriate formation. I am at guidepost 4 in your books, page 30, okay? As Paul shows in this passage in Ephesians that we just read, the role of leaders in the church is not to do all the ministry, but to equip the holy ones for the work of ministry. That is, to mobilize, form, and train all the members for carrying out their mission of building up the church. So the point is, Father's job is to empower everybody here. The job of the staff, in line with their duties, is to empower everybody in your parish. As you step into your role, you take on that same responsibility. So to be empowered and then to empower. Implementing this guidepost entails a paradigm shift such that every parish becomes a school of evangelization in which all members are being equipped to be witnesses of Christ. So we need to become effective evangelizers. That's pretty much what that's saying. And that is the goal of this. So, if we are to invite, we need to have a personal relationship with Jesus ourselves. So if we are going to become a parish of evangelization, then we need to be equipped to know how to do that, all right? To have the courage to do it. And again, that doesn't mean we're going out on the streets, we're not knocking on doors. For some of you, that may be what stirs your soul, and that's okay. But really, it's going one-to-one. It's talking about your faith to people. It's caring for those who are hurting, and you are the visible sign of Christ to them. Okay? So we have to have that personal relationship with Jesus. And if we don't have it, if we don't have that relationship, how can we share it? Okay? How can anybody come into a relationship with Christ if they haven't met him yet? How can we teach them about Christ if they haven't met him yet? Am I making sense? We have two pieces of the puzzle here. Evangelization is the piece that introduces Christ to somebody. And then catechesis is the accompanying piece, where we teach about that faith. We teach what that relationship means. And then they go off. And they begin to be a witness. Okay? We talked about that a little bit last week. So it makes that our lives are not static at all in anything we do. That doesn't mean we're 24/7 looking for this. We're just letting God bring it to us. Lord, make me ready. Make me unafraid to speak the truth that you have in my life. Okay? So just like in singing, speak the truth through the song. Be part of the prayer and elevate my voice. And I know everybody doesn't like to sing along with a whole bunch of people. All right? But we did it. And we did it pretty darn well. Okay? So we are not static. We're active. Because a disciple is never static. A disciple is never static. We are always dynamic. Okay? And we're always in a process of growth. So that's how we become equipping the evangelizers. Because we're always in need of a deeper conversion. And when we understand that, hang on, because it's a really awesome ride. So here's a quick question I want to see. I'd like to ask you to share at your table, right? I just stated that we're all in need of a deeper conversion. But I wonder how many of us know that we even have a conversion story. Some of us do, some of us don't. I'll wager at least one person at every table has a conversion story, okay, that you can share at your table of how God entered into your life and changed something, okay? Does that make sense to talk about that, or do you need an example? No examples, all right. You're on. Take a few minutes and share at your table, and then maybe we can have one or two people just share their story.
I was catechized very young, and it was just something that right. And so I guess it's a gradual because since we're married,
How about one more minute? All right, how about we come back together? I can tell you had some good conversations. So we must have some pretty good conversion stories. Yeah. Would anybody want to share one real quick? Not in front of the microphone, right? Yeah, wonderful. You can just stand there if you like. If you want to come up here, that would be great too.
It's not anything crazy, but I was telling them during Pope John Paul's funeral, it was like a 3 a.m. feeding for my youngest son, Dominic. So I flipped on, EWTN, and I was feeding him. He wasn't even a month old. I think JP2 died April 20th. Yeah. Something, yeah. So long story short, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a moment where the Bible was on his casket, and there was not even the slightest breeze in Rome that day. And you can actually Google it, YouTube it, see it. But the pages of the You know, we definitely felt baptism of the Holy Spirit, and, you know, once you have it, you can't go back, you know.
Well, that's so well said. Once you have it, you just can't go back. Because it opens up a whole new life of spirituality. It's like in the song, you said your light, and you open my heart. And then suddenly you realize, well, all this stuff that Jesus did is here right now. It can happen in my life. That's a huge story. You shouldn't precede that. Well, that wasn't much. That was huge. I wonder how many people freaked out when they saw the Bible just opening like that. But yeah, but when you are alive in your faith and you're allowing the Spirit to guide that life, and you say yes to entering into the charisms we're about to talk about, into the spiritual gifts that are ours at baptism, that we tend to just let fly. When you're alive in that, your whole world awakens. Then you understand the meaning that Christ said. You'll always have a bit of heaven here on earth. And that's it. And even your trials somehow carry meaning. And then you walk through them differently. Because you know that that when I come out at the other end, I'm going to be a whole different person. And so it makes you less afraid of the trial. It makes you less resistant to walking in it. That's why people who have that gift, and I keep telling the Lord, I don't want this gift, but the gift of suffering, okay, where they take their suffering and they offer it up as a prayer to whatever the Lord needs. And there are saints throughout the centuries, our saints riddle history with their suffering.